Somebody asked me recently, did I believe in the law of attraction? And that's like asking me, do I believe in gravity or do I believe in oxygen? It's not a case of whether we believe in the law of attraction or not. It's a scientific law. It is a law in the world that works every single day. So I have loads of law of attraction stories. But one happened last night that I am dying to tell you about, okay? Not that it happened last night, but it happened years ago, but I remembered it last night. So I had this book. I was clearing out some books and I had this book, okay? The Annals of Dublin Fair City, right? And I was flicking through it. Myself and my husband loved this book and I was flicking through it. And all of these other pages that were stuck in it fell out. And one of them was this picture. Now, let me tell you about this picture and when I printed it. If you could see it, there's actually holes in the top of it and there's rust at the back of this page, right? From where the pins were stuck in that. So let me count it out. Oh my God, it must be 12 or 13 years ago I printed this picture, okay? I was living in Duleek at the time and Neil and I wanted to build a house. And in order for me to get an idea of the kind of house that I wanted to build, I started printing pictures until I found the one that I loved because it was modern and old all at the same time. And I had that picture in my kitchen in Duleek for about 12 months. I didn't know where this house was. I had never seen this house before. However, I knew that I either wanted to build a house just like that or I wanted to live in that exact house. So about a year later, my son was only about 4 years old at the time. He's 16 now when I printed this picture. And for a whole year when he started school first, I drove in my car 1, 2, 3, 4, like, I don't know, 6 or 8 times a day over and back from Duleek to his school in Drogheda and to Charlie's Neenra, over and back all day, every day, over to sport all day, every day. The tyres of my car, so funny about the car, because here's the picture of the car that I wanted and I got it. Anyway, that's a different day story. The tyre tracks of my car were literally melted into this particular road that I had to drive every single day over and back. And one day on this road that I've driven thousands of times, hundreds of thousands of times probably at this stage, I see a for sale sign that comes up on the road that was not there the day before. So I drove in. It was surrounded by trees and you couldn't see the property from the road. It was surrounded by a forest actually and an orchard. And I drove in to this house and I shit you not. I shit you not, people. This was the exact house. It was the house. And I was so shocked and overwhelmed and couldn't believe it that when I drove into that driveway, I actually nearly drove into the front of the house. I nearly drove into the house because I just couldn't believe that for the previous 12 months, this picture was in my kitchen because I wanted to either build it or live in it. And I drove into that exact property. I rang Neil Bourne. Neil will tell you, and lots of my friends can corroborate this story. I rang Neil Bourne, I was like, you're not going to believe it. Oh my God, you're not going to believe it. I'm after finding the house. And he was like, will you go away out of that? You didn't find that house. I found the house. So I walked around the house and I found the groundskeeper, because it was on a lot of land. And his name was Kit. And I spoke to him and I said, I want to live in this house. How do I go about living in this house? So he gave me the information of the owner and I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter to the owner. I think the house was it 1.5 million or 2 million or something at the time. Anyway, at that time, I was not buying a house for 1.5 million at all, or 2 million, or for whatever million you like. It just wasn't on the radar. And I wrote to the owners and I said, listen, your house is very expensive, but if you'd be willing to rent it to me permanently, I would love to live there with my children. I would take care of the land for you, and I will mind that house as if it's my own, because this house was 5 minutes away from my children's school, and I wanted to stop driving on that road multiple times a day. So there was a bit of a negotiation forward and back, and they thought that I was mad. The family who owned the house thought that I was mad because it was there's a lot of maintenance involved, and the house is very, very cold. However, my dream came true. We moved from Duleek. My neighbours helped me move into this very house. Not a house that looks like this house. This very house. And there's probably a lot of you who are watching online right now who's actually been in this house with me, sitting on that lawn, drinking tea. And we lived in that house, I think, for about 6 years. Maybe more, maybe 7. I healed myself in that home. I raised my children undisturbed, under my care and my husband's care, with no distractions from the outside world. We were surrounded by darkness. There was no street lighting, still is no street lighting. We were surrounded by wild animals and an orchard and a forest, and we had adventures every single day. I got to know myself on a much deeper level than I had ever known. And I wrote and I wrote and I read and I listened and I learned and I went deeper with my own spiritual development. And I was alone for a lot of this time, and it was very, very isolating. But I loved every second of it. I loved every single second of it. That very house, this very house, literally, as the crow flies, is about 200 metres that way. And you would never know it. The way that the roads are situated and the land and the trees, you can't see it. Now, the owners of this house now have taken down all the trees, so you actually can see this house now from the street. But up until last year, you just couldn't. So my question for you is, like, first of all, isn't that an amazing story that actually happened, right? And it was so beautiful, so beautiful. We've so many memories from that house. It was so big. It was so big. It was so hard to clean and maintain. But Jesus Christ, we loved it there. And Jamie Bourne, wants us to live there again. And he when he's an adult, he says he's going to buy it back no matter how much it costs him. And I hope that he does. In fact, I know that he will if that's what he wants to do. But my question for you is, do you believe in the law of attraction? And if so, how have you applied that to your life? I want you to tell me a story where you've used the law of attraction and you have attracted whatever experience or thing or person into your life, because this shit is real. It's like gravity, as I said earlier on. I want you to share your story, because when you share your story, you shine a light for other people so that they can see where they're going, okay? Don't believe me. I want you to tell your story. Now, let's see. Let me see who is... Finola McConville says, yes, the law of attraction got me my clinic. That's brilliant. Tell us more about that, Finola. Hey, Queenie. Alva says she has goosebumps. Alison says, stop it, that's amazing. Anthony Foley, I turned this on and you said my father's name. I do similar work as yourself. What a sign. I'm delighted, Anthony. Thank you. Hey, Helen. Sinead Tiernan, sorry I missed the start. How did you come across the picture? Sorry, now it won't let me scroll back. Did you know it was near you? So Sinead, I just googled the words old country house, and this was one of the pictures that came up, and I printed loads of them, and then I chose the one that I loved the most. And I wasn't aware that it was near me. I wasn't aware that it was near me because I just went into the picture section of Google and printed that. It's actually uncanny. Sinead Tiernan says it's physics. Exactly, it's a scientific fact, Sinead. Energy attract in same frequency. Energy. I practice it all the time. Can't argue with science. We just can't. We just can't argue with science. So listen, I leave it there. I hope you enjoyed that story. I was dying to tell you today. It was too late last night to share it. But please share your stories with everybody else, because the more actual, tangible stories that we continue to share about the law of attraction and how it works, and everything is energy, and like energy attracts like energy. That's why birds of a feather flock together, and we could break it down and peel the layers of the onion back all the way back to people, and that similar people are attracted to similar people, which is kind of where I'm going with this. All right, take it easy, enjoy the sunshine, put loads of factor on. Slán.